Hey guys, what's going on? Simon Doty here. You're hanging out with me in my new home studio in Toronto. I've had a lot of people over the last few years ask me how I do different things when I'm making my music, how I make different bass sounds, lead sounds, how I program drums, etc. So I decided that I'm going to do a quick studio tip video. I'm going to do one a week and we're going to post them every Wednesday on our YouTube channel. So this week what I decided I would do is go through how I make pad sounds, just a quick way to make a good pad sound from scratch. When I'm making pad sounds I often use the Virus, but you can do this with any VST, like Native Instruments Massive is a good one, Sylenth, even analog within Ableton Live for example you could use. So even though I'm going to be doing it with the Virus, all the concepts still apply. Okay, so I'm going to open up the Virus interface here, and it is on the initialize preset. I'm going to go into the oscillator section here. The Virus has two oscillators, and what I'm going to do is set each of these to the hypersaw. Sawtooth is good for making pad sounds, it's very harmonically rich. I'm going to go over here and turn the detune up. I'm going to go into the voices section here. I'm going to put it to 4 voices. I'm going to turn the unison detune up as well as the pan spread, so that's going to spread out the two oscillators, give it a bit more space. I'm going to add a little bit of ring modulation. The ring modulation is good at just adding a little bit of an edgy sound, which I like for pads. I'm also going to now go into the effects section here. I'm going to boost the mid a little bit, and I'm going to boost the highs a little bit, and this just adds a little bit more air to the pad sound, so you can hear what it's sounding like now. And I'm also going to go into the effects section over here. I'm going to add some reverb with a long decay, as well as just a pretty standard ping pong delay, which helps give a little bit more space. Now to the filter section. It's important for a really good pad sound to have a long release and a long attack, so I'm going to really increase the attack here as well as the release. Okay, that's sounding pretty good there. And one more thing that's often overlooked that I think is really important in making a good pad sound is having some subtle movement. So a good way to do that is to use the LFO section. So I'm going to click on that here, and I'm going to set the LFO to the filter 1 cutoff. I'm going to increase the pulse width a little bit as well as the resonance, and turn that filter 1 cutoff a little bit. So now, as I bring this down, you can now hear the LFO is causing the pad to move a little bit back and forth. You can hear that it increases as I turn up LFO 1. I'm going to bring it down somewhere kind of like this. You can hear as I bring the LFO rate down, it's getting further and further apart. So I like somewhere around here is good for me. And then you can now you can also use the clock sync to sync the LFO. I personally prefer to have it not synced, as I think kind of the free movement gives it more of a kind of an analog feel, less digital. But if you prefer it to be like that, then all you have to do is sync the clock, and you can set your rate here, and you can hear as I'm changing the clock sync. It's changing the rate. So that's about it. Pretty simple way to make a good pad sound. Guys, thank you for tuning in to my very first Rhetorical Studio Tips video. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, feel free to comment on the YouTube video and I'll get back to you on that. If you have a topic that you would like me to cover for a future studio tip video, feel free to connect with us on Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram at Rhetorical Music. Until next week, see you then.